Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all. See you.
So this is the Judean desert, huh? What a panorama.
Wow. This is wow. I love the people.
That's the Syrian African Rift, and that's the Jordan Valley. It's about 1,200 feet below sea level. Jerusalem will be on my left, all the way up, and that's about 2,800 feet above sea level. So you talk about 3,000 drop between Jericho and Jerusalem. So many scholars believe that Jesus will never or would have not go through Samaria, because we know Samaritans and Jews do not get along. So many believe that Jesus would have walked through the Jordan Valley as far as Jericho, then make his way up to Jerusalem.
Show them the wadi.
So the wadi is this wadi. It's named Wadi Kal. And what is a wadi? It's a dry riverbed that fills with rainwater. So when you have a good 2-3 rainy days, that's when the flash floods or the water comes through those wadis. We used to go to a monastery named St. George's Monastery, but because the bridge fell, so now it's dangerous to take the bus down there. So we don't go. And that's why all the vendors that used to be down come to here. This reminds you with the Good Samaritan story. Remember that a man was robbed on his way to Jericho, coming down from Jerusalem to Jericho. So we're going to do 2 readings. Also, not far from us would be the temptation. The Mount of Temptation is where that, you see the antennas? Straight up there. Move to the left of the antennas. You see there's a flat top mount. Can you see it? That is the Mount of Temptation. We call it Carantal, which comes from the Latin word meaning 40. Jesus spent 40 days and 40 nights. And so down from that mount, there is a monastery, which is called the Temptation Monastery. And I'm going to show you that when we go to Jericho. So let's start with this reading first.
And Jesus was led up by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. He fasted 40 days and 40 nights, and afterwards he was famished. The tempter came and said to him, "If you are the Son of God, command these stones to become loaves of bread." But he answered, "It is written, one does not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God." Then the devil took him to the holy city and placed him on the pinnacle of the temple, saying to him, "If you are the Son of God, throw yourself down, for it is written, He will command His angels concerning you, and on their hands they will bear you up, so that you will not dash your foot against a stone." Jesus said to him, "Again it is written, do not put the Lord your God to the test." Again the devil took him to a very high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their splendor. And he said to him, "All these I will give you, if you will fall down and worship me." Jesus said to him, "Away with you, Satan, for it is written, worship the Lord your God and serve only Him." And then the devil left him, and suddenly angels came and waited on him.
So the Jordan River is not far from Jericho. Remember, it would be east of Jericho. That comes into the Dead Sea. So the Dead Sea would be that way. And that's the Moab Mountains, and then the Ammonites, where Jordan is today. Let's do, who'd like to do reading? Who did not read yet? Hello? Who would like?
Jay.
Who?
I have it now.
And likewise, just stop and start playing.
Now as they went on their way, he entered a certain village where a woman named Martha welcomed him into her home.
29. Likewise.
But wanting to justify himself, he asked Jesus, "And who is my neighbor?" Jesus replied, "A man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho and fell into the hands of robbers, who stripped him, beat him, and went away, leaving him half dead. Now by chance a priest was going down that road, and when he saw him, he passed by on the other side. So likewise a Levite, when he came to the place and saw him, passed by on the other side. But a Samaritan while traveling came near him, and when he saw him, he was moved with pity. He went to him and bandaged his wounds, having poured oil and wine on them. Then he put him on his own animal, brought him to an inn, and took care of him. The next day he took out him 2 denarii, gave them the innkeeper, and said, "Take care of him, and when I come back I will repay you whatever more you spend." Which of these do you think was a neighbor to the man who fell into the hands of the robbers? He said, "The one who showed him mercy." Jesus said to him, "Go and do likewise."
So you can see easy how robbers can be hiding between one of those mountains when they rob a person. So this, somewhere in this area would have happened.
Yeah,
Yes,
where it's green down there, are those oases or
it's oasis. Why? Because there's water. Water just seeps out, comes out from the mountains. Yeah, it's a spring. طلع تنام مع بعضك احسن لك هيك تاخذ ستة يلا.
Oh, perfect.
Spirits here too? No spirits. Okay.
Perfectamente.
بسام ثلاثة.
You'll walk around. Here we go.
Another camel here. Another camel over here.
I got a good one.
Mom, look here.
وين معكش دورات وحدات؟
معايا أنا. We take a picture of me.
What do you have? Camera?
Here we go.
Whoa, don't get off.
بسام. 106.
Very good, very good. Very nice. Yella, 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 yella.
He's giving you attitude. Right with your dad.
Right.
Gotta get on there.
It's Scotty. Secretary.
Oh, okay.
Chance of a lifetime.
Be careful.
Oh, that's ours.
Hang on there. Very nice. Very nice.
Isn't that wonderful?
Oh man, wait a minute. Forward. Break my back.
Very good.
Yeehaw.
Oh, wait a minute.
Okay, madame.
Smile back in, God. I don't know if I could do this all. And be pregnant.
It's hot.
Do you feel precarious, Becky? Yeah. It doesn't look like you get much of
Okay, Amy and May. Okay, stop right there. Whoa.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I think it translates. Very nice. They
You
got.
can even go hands.
They actually have stirrups there. Did you see that?
They should have.
They do, right in front of you there. Yep. do it. Just one. Okay. Well, that's. Look at you.
This is comfortable. But just with one person, I think it's more comfortable.
Get her.
She's an old Hearst fan. You kidding me? This isn't.
Dad's got the Mediterranean look now.
I gotta be down to 188. God, definitely losing weight. We get back. We get back. That's probably.
The second checkpoint is the Palestinian.
Jericho, and was passing through. A man was there by the name of Zacharias. He was the chief tax collector and was wealthy. He wanted to see who Jesus was, but being a short man, he could not because of the crowd. So he ran ahead and climbed a sycamore fig tree to see him, since Jesus was coming that way. When Jesus reached the spot, he looked up and said to him, "Zacharias, come down immediately. You must stay at your house today." So he came down at once and welcomed him gladly. All the people saw this and began to mutter, "He has gone to be the guest of a sinner." But Zacharias stood up and said to the Lord, "Look, Lord, here and now I give half my possessions to the poor, and if I have cheated anybody out of anything, I will pay them back 4 times the amount." Jesus said to him, "Today salvation has come to this house, because this man too is a son of Abraham. For the Son of Man came to seek and to save what was lost."
Yes. And that's what it is. It was. Bad setting, but not there. Give me your.
Okay, Zacchaeus was a. What was that? Okay, get in here quickly. I did. I got it. We're gonna get, this is now with the tree in the background.
Zacchaeus was a wee little man was he. He climbed up in the sycamore tree for the Savior for to see. And Savior walked right down the path and looked up in the tree and said, "Zacchaeus, you come down. I'm going to your house for tea."
$1, $1, everything $1. $1, just $1.
Mount of Temptations. Currently that's a monastery built right into the mountain.
About 5, 6 months. That's it? Yeah. Yeah.
You said the Mount of Temptation was
That's one. And there's cave, and we believe the tradition that is the cave where Jesus was tempted. So they built a monastery.
where the monastery is now.
Yeah. Yeah. Where Jesus was tempted by the devil, and that's why they built the monastery.
Temptation, Jesus. Tempted by the devil, right up there. Yeah, it says there's only 4 or 5 monks that live there. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ian. Happy birthday to you. Yeah.
Get the family together.
Family picture. A little bit of different scenery here in the valley. Yeah. Church of the Annunciation, where Gabriel came to Mary. and said she would be bearing a child. Church of the Annunciation, leading the pilgrimage. Lynette and her followers. Think that's Gabriel?
طبعا الكنيسة في كل مكان في كل موقع هي مش بعيدة عن أحوال الناس والأوضاع التي.
Hi, Gladys.
Is the matriarch of this planet.
Wow.
And this is Father Fuad.
Hi, how are you?
This is mostly her
Hi.
children and grandchildren. These four are our friends.
Hi.
Yes.
Yes. Hello. Which is going on in Gaza. And we as a church can't stand silent without actually sending out our voice, but a voice of peace, a voice of love, a voice of reconciliation between all God's children in this country and all over the world. So I hope people will come tonight and really worship together, and I hope you will enjoy the evening. You will listen to Arabic hymns and Arabic language. I'm sure it's going to be an experience of its kind for you, and I hope you will like it. Father Vance, by the way, you will be as well interviewed, because I mentioned your name, and some people knew in Nazareth, another radio station, that we're having a group from the States, brothers and sisters who are worshiping with us and who will be celebrating with us the beginning of a new year, so they thought they could also interview you.
It's always the first question I get asked when I come here.
I have brought my family for a tour of the holy sites, and then to meet my good friends in Shefarm, and to celebrate the Christmas and New Year season. And we came with great joy and hope, and we are in despair and great anger over what is happening in Gaza. It is, of course, more of the same, the oppression of the occupiers, and it brings great sadness to us, and we're very hopeful that a new regime in these states may bring new awareness of justice and peace here. Yes, it's terrible. It's terrible. I've been coming for almost 10 years now, bringing groups one after another to go through the checkpoint and to see the oppression and to understand the injustices that my Palestinian brothers and sisters face every day of their lives. And we have built up, maybe in my years of doing this, maybe 1,000 people understand the truth. but it is so hard for our voice to be heard in the States. Even our best friends, when we tell them what we find here, find it hard to believe and really think that it's a matter of U.S. policy to defeat terrorism. They have no idea of the history. They have no idea of the extent of the oppression. We hold informational meetings at our church for the community. We bring Father Fuad and others over to speak to the issues. We are very active in supporting and then circulating the work of Naimatik at the Sabeel organization in Jerusalem, but we have several Sabeel centers in the States. We work very hard to teach the theology of liberation, but I must tell you, it is as discouraging for us almost as it must be for you.
So, my family and I have come from the United States to visit the Holy Land, and I have taken 19 of us to those special places that mark the occasions of Jesus' birth, life, in Palestine many times. Imagine the excitement of my family when they came for the first time to see these great things. Our broken hearts when the violence breaks out again in Gaza, as it has before, all through this land.
ولكن للأسف انكسر قلبنا من الوجع للوضع الموجود في غزة. احنا اجينا بفرح ولكن استنانا هنا الحزن للوضع الموجود في غزة حاليا.
We ask ourselves, can this be a holy land? And can these be holy people in your country and in mine who allow these things to happen? Teach peace and justice and reconciliation. But we are not able to be the voice of our nation.
احنا بنعلم عن المصالحة والسلام ولكنه احنا مش قادرين نكون صوت لشعبنا اللي جايين منه.
Thank you.
It brings me joy and great pleasure and honor to welcome my dear brother, my friend, and my father, Father Dennis Obrey, my dear brother, and my dear brothers and sisters. You are more than welcome. You are not strangers. You are not visitors. You are members of the family. And this is your family here in Shafa'abar, and in this church of St. Paul's. We really feel honored and blessed in our relationship because we feel that our friendship and your friendship with us is a great blessing. So thanks for coming, and I hope that you will enjoy this evening with us. Ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome.
So many do, the Palestinians are humans too. If an Israeli dies, we mourn as we should. If they're American or British, we know that they're